All right, so here we have the CSU fitness regimen from ATG, or knees over toes guy. And I've done a little bit of a modification or spin on it, but it's 90% the same. And so first we're starting off with calf raises, and I want you to focus on strong on the up through the big toe and slow on the way down. It's not quick up and down. It's controlled, measurable up and down, pushing through the big toe. Straight leg and bent leg. Two legs makes it easier. One leg, like I do, makes it harder. You can play around with how far away you are from the wall or not. It doesn't really matter. The point is to do this, and the first time you do it, do not go to failure on any of these. Failure is when you can't do another rep. Don't even go to momentary failure or the rep before you can't do another rep. The first time you go through this routine, do every exercise easily to the point that you could probably do twice as many reps. That's what we're looking for the first time through. The second time through, do a few more. Go to almost, you're approaching momentary failure. The third time through this routine, you can go to momentary or full failure with some of these. And for this full routine, I prefer to do my harder or longer runs on the same day prior to my strength work, especially lower leg strength work. So now I'm switching to the bent knee calf raises. And you can see here, I did a 1K repeat workout this morning, and a couple hours later, I've showered and I'm in my regular clothes. I'm taking a break from work and I'm going through the routine. Sometimes I do the strength work immediately after running, and sometimes, like I did in this video here, I do it a few hours. Sometimes I do it later in the day. But the point is to keep our work days for the legs, and the non-running days or the easy running days, easier rest for the legs. I don't want every day turning into leg day. And so now we're moving on to the tibialis raises. So we've just worked the back of the leg, the calves. Now we're working the front of the leg. So this tibialis anterior muscle here, it helps control, inverting, dorsiflexing, bringing the toes up. And it's probably potentially the most neglected muscle on the body as far as strength work goes. You can do this two-legged like I'm doing. Keep your butt, but not your back against the wall. Makes it a little harder. Doing them one-legged or moving your legs further away from the wall will make it more difficult. I'm going to failure with these, and you might be surprised the first couple times you do this how weak this muscle is, because like I said, most people, they don't strengthen it. All right, now once you can't raise your toes anymore, find a slant board like I have here. You could really even just put your calves, your heels up on a book. And we're going through the full range of motion with the squats right here. And the slant board here, and the squats, a combo of it, it helps target your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings. You're improving your mobility by doing the full range of motion, and your stability as well. And the slant board, this one especially, gives it a little bit of stability work in there as well. But we're mostly working on keeping your back fairly straight and going down and up through that full range of motion. And you can see this is my full gym setup back here. I pretty much just use the yoga mat, my 15-pound dumbbells, and my 45s. Sometimes I use the little blue ones as well. I think they are 3 or 5 pounds maybe, and those get used with like shoulder or tricep or bicep exercises as kind of like a drop set where I use the 15s until I can't do another rep, and then I drop down to the small blue ones until I can't do another rep. I'm not working the biceps with this routine or the triceps specifically with dumbbells, but it's something that you can easily add in as well. But you see here, my toddler Quincy came in, and this is a routine that you can do at any time. I have clients do routines at work, at the office. You don't work up a sweat doing body weight or with dumbbells for 10 or 20 minutes, and you shut the office door. Nobody will know you're doing it. Or you do it for a break during the workday, like I did here at home on a Tuesday. It doesn't have to be going to the gym for an hour and a half. It can be 20 minutes over your lunch. Okay, next up, this might be a little tricky for some of you. It's Nordics. It works the back of the leg, and what I've done is I've hooked my toes under the 45-pound dumbbells to hold them in place, and I'm leaning forward with a straight back, straight hips. I'm leaning forward as far as I can. And then before, this is the mistake people make with these Russian hamstrings or these Nordic hamstrings, is they just fall forward and catch themselves with their hands, like in a push-up position. But instead of doing that, when you get to that point where you can't lower yourself with a straightened upper body anymore, you lean forward so you go through the full range of motion. And I promise you, you do not want to go to failure with this the first couple times you do it, because you will not be able to walk the next day. This is an eccentric movement, and it can be extremely damaging for the muscles the first time or two you do them to failure. So be mindful and be careful of that. There's Mr. Quincy. All right, so now we've worked eccentrically the back of the leg. So now we're going to do reverse Nordics, where you'll see me fall controlled backwards. So I'm eccentrically loading. Eccentric means the muscle is under tension, but it's lengthening at the same time. That's why downhill running is so damaging for the quads, because your legs are lengthening running downhill, but they're loaded at the same time. And so I'm slowly moving backwards and then up. And I've got my toes under me, and I'm stretching my toes and my plantar fascia. I've got a little plantar fasciitis in my left leg going on right now, but I've been doing this stretch specifically multiple times a day. You can point your toes back and get a little tibialis anterior stretch and a little bit more range of motion in there, but I'm just doubling up the plantar toe stretch with doing this as well. But this is an excellent, again, eccentric movement with the quads. So do not go to failure with this the first time. You're doing a lot of muscle damage, but you're also doing a lot of strengthening for the future. Okay, then next up we have the elephant walk, and basically what this does, it kind of involves walking on your hands. I've got you can elevate your hands, of course, and your feet are raised, but it kind of targets the glutes, the hamstrings, and it stretches them a little bit. So you're getting a little bit of range of motion in there. But it might be a little awkward the first time you do it, but I'm doing 20, I think 20 reps each side, and depending on how low you go, it's not a huge strength workout, but it's good for mobility, mobility, coordination. It involves your entire body from the calves, because it's doing a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of a calf workout, but it's also stretching and moving, and your hips your back a little bit as well. So it's just a nice little exercise in here with the elephant walk. All right, so ATG or knees over toes guy recommends an L sit, where you're sitting, between two handles, for example, and you're sitting in an L position with your butt and your legs off the ground. I don't have anything that'll work for that. So this is kind of a next a good option where I'm holding a dumbbell up and I'm just doing leg raises, controlled. And I didn't time this very well. I did upper body and core last night, actually about exactly 12 hours ago. So I'm feeling it already, but try to keep your legs straight. You can bend them a little bit if you need to, and we're just kind of working on those abs and your core a little bit with the next couple exercises. You could do this if you have a pull-up bar. A pull-up would be a great addition to this full routine, and you can do just leg raises like this, hanging from a pull-up bar. Here's another core exercise. We've got a little bit of a push with the dumbbells, and then just raise your shoulders off the ground. Don't try to curl your back so much. You're almost, imagine there is a rope attached to your chest, between your pecs, and somebody is above you pulling you straight up. You're being pulled straight up. That's the cue I like. So you're not curling your back so much as just moving your upper quarter straight up. And that's working your shoulders, your pecs, your core, your abs a little bit right here. Okay, next up we have some split squats, but we're doing the ATG split squats. So they work a little bit more of the range of motion, and that rear leg is remaining pretty straight, and you're moving forward as much as you can. Now, raising that front leg, you'll see me do it in a second with the other side, will help make this a little easier, and you're getting a good strength, but also stretch through your hips. And I'm always, when I'm working my calves, I'm always thinking pushing back through the big toe back there. So this is a full lower body exercise, great for coordination, balance, range of motion, and do it gently and do it with intention and purpose while being mindful of what you're doing. I've in the past told people like do some strength work while watching something or listening to something, but I've kind of moved away from that. Instead, I'm trying to be more attentive to what muscles are working and how they're feeling, how they're engaging, and what's happening during the movement. I think it makes for a better workout. And there's that old saying the Buddhist monk says, when you're having tea, only have tea. If you're reading the newspaper, only read the newspaper. Like, do one thing and focus on it and do it with intention and purpose. It doesn't always have to be true, but sometimes it's nice to just have some quiet time to do something. All right, finally, we have a good one, especially if you're doing a big run that has lots of downhill. This is their downhill hops. Now, holding the dumbbell out in front of you moves your center of mass forward. So you're gonna feel like you're gonna be jumping forward. And this is an amazing calf, toe, leg, quad, eccentric quad exercise. Can do a lot of damage, so be careful. Just small little brisk hops, not crazy jumps. And those are really, again, really well working the lower leg, foot, ankle, calf, and eccentrically the quad. And next, we're just doing, again, pull-ups would be nice for this, but we're using the bands to work your back, your shoulders a little bit here by just doing some band pulls. Next up, we'll go into, after I get done with these, we'll do some pull-aparts with the band as well. And that'll wrap it up. It's just a nice full body, not comprehensive, but it's pretty close. You could add in some more specific muscle group exercises, like for the biceps, for the triceps. But this is a good full body exercise routine, working your range of motions, a little bit of stretching, mobility, and of course strength in there as well. You can do this 2-3 times a week, like I recommend. I would do this the same day immediately after, or at least later in the day, of a hard or long run. That way it keeps our hard or long days hard and our easy days restful, restorative, and regenerative. Now, that doesn't mean you don't do anything on those days. Go for a walk, a hike, a bike ride, and don't do anything fatiguing or damaging, muscle damaging to the body on those days, preferably. So those muscle groups that we work today with a hard run, with some strength work, you're giving them the time and the opportunity to recover and regenerate. So thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. Share this with anybody that you think would benefit from it, and let me know if there's anything else I can do for you.